all standing around crying and talking to one another saying, I don't even know anybody that voted for Scott Brown. I don't know what happened. That's the mentality that the people out there, they don't know that the independents, the Republicans, they're energized and they're ready to vote again. Played football at Williams College for 4 years, and then I went down to Florida State Law School, and I went to law school there, and I concentrated mostly on constitutional law as my favorite subject. While I was in law school, I joined the Marine Corps. And I joined the Marine Corps in between my second and third year of law school, went to officer candidate school for 10 weeks. That's the version of boot camp for officers. And then I graduated law school, took the bar, passed the bar, and then went to the basic school in Quantico, Virginia for 7 months. That's every officer has to go through that 6-month period. I went a little early of training of how to be a basic infantry officer. Then I went to Naval Justice School for 8 weeks up in Newport, Rhode Island, and then they sent me off to the garden spot edge of the empire, Yuma, Arizona. We have an Arizona transplant here. I was the senior defense counsel in Yuma, Arizona. I was the only defense counsel in Yuma, Arizona. I had the law school nightmare when I was sitting in my office. First week I was there as a brand new first lieutenant, and a salty old master sergeant walked in, 22 years in the service. He was accused of a pretty serious crime. And he said, Lieutenant, how many cases have you tried? I said, none, Master Sergeant. He says, well, how many guilty pleas or other things have you done? I said, none, Top. And the Marine Corps called Top. And he says, well, should I be getting a civilian counsel? And you know, me, I had confidence in myself. I said, Master Sergeant, no civilian counsel is going to work as hard as I am for you. And he was acquitted, and he was not guilty in my eyes, and he's not guilty in the jury's eyes as well. So I spent 3 years in Yuma, Arizona, and my plan was to get out and go back to Florida and be a federal prosecutor there. But 9/11 happened, and my world changed just like everybody's world changed. And I wasn't going to get out of the Marine Corps. I was up at the end of my tour. I wasn't going to get out of the Marine Corps before we went wherever we were going. So the one bargain I made with them is I was newly married. I said, you got to send me somewhere outside of the desert. So they did send me to San Diego. My wife was very appreciative of that. And soon thereafter, I was in San Diego and I was the chief prosecutor there for a period of time, and then they sent me to Iraq. And I was in Iraq between 2004 and 2005. I went over with the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing as the in-house counsel for the commanding general. What I did was teach all the pilots that came into theater rules of engagement. I advised the general on targeting, and every time there was an aircraft mishap, anytime we had a bird go down or get hit or anything like that, I was out in the field with mortuary affairs and some of the lead investigators to figure out why it went down. When the battle in Najaf kicked off, I was asked to go down to Najaf to help out with civil affairs. A lot of people don't know this, but right now we fight a really asymmetric war. There's no real front lines, but where there is front lines, you have infantry in front, and then right behind them, you have a bunch of lawyers with money strapped to their back. And I was one of those lawyers with money strapped to my back. I had $250,000 of freshly minted bills, and I would hand them out to people to help them rebuild their schools and homes and hospitals and all those sorts of things. And we would be out there with a 10-man security team and spending this money to try to win the hearts and minds. We probably spent, in the time period I was there, millions of dollars. I can't say all of it was, well vetted out, but our general wanted to get the money on the street. My brother Tom, who's in Congress now, says that might prepare you if you were a Democrat to be in Congress, spending all that money. Certainly Mark Schauer would know what I'm talking about. I guess I did such a good job, down there in Najaf that the 1st Marine Division Commanding General asked for me by name to come up to Fallujah during the 2nd Battle of Fallujah. Kicked off in November, so I got up there, I think I got up there in November. Stayed through January, and my primary task there, Fallujah was very different than Najaf, because Fallujah, you had a lot of the Al-Qaeda, a lot of the Sunni. Najaf, you had Shia, and that was where Muqtada al-Sadr was with his Mahdi militia. Very different kind of fight on our hands. In Fallujah, that's where Zarqawi was. That's where you had the 4 American contractors, who were all Navy SEALs, by the way, that were murdered and hung and burned from that bridge. And right now we have a couple Navy SEALs that are actually being charged with assaulting the guy who did that, which shows you, where the priorities of this government lie, which is really disgusting.